Hello, everyone. Welcome to Justice Served Daily. Hello, Miss Page.
Hi, JSD. How are you?
I am so anxious I can't stand it.
I know. I can't tell you how many coffees I've had this morning. I just don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go to bed like after this is over because I just haven't been able to sleep, period.
Need a nap.
And
Yeah.
it is just crazy. I'm so anxious to find out what it is we're going to find out and, all that good
Yeah.
stuff. So, um, yeah, I'm just
Yeah. I can't
sitting,
even begin to imagine what we might find out today.
and I hope we find out satisfactory info. So, I'm just,
Yeah. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but at the same time, I have a gut feeling, a good one. So
yeah.
here's hoping.
And I'm trying to look at which live stream here is going to be the best one to try to show, and hopefully the less issues with streaming, of course. And
Yeah.
let's see here. But yeah, I know we've been talking early hours this morning, as far as early hours for my time.
Yeah.
So,
It was, I can't remember, but like about 4 hours later, my time. Yeah.
so I'm trying to look and see what would be the best things here. I'm looking under the Fox 59 Facebook page. I don't know if that would be the best way to see. Let's see. Reminder: just a few hours will be held. Yes, yes, we know, we know. You can watch it here at Fox 59. Well, that's what I wanted. Let's click on that. Oh, I'm just so nervous. I'm so
I
nervous.
know. I don't know if you can hear me breathe in, but I feel like I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting still while I'm trying to sit still anyway.
Okay, I see that they said click here. So far, confirm. Um, well, we do know from hearing early in the news that um, he is not cooperating with
Right.
police, which is interesting, right? It's kind of like, what? Um,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to see. I clicked that link, and I don't know if this is going to pop up refreshed. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, they said this link, and I clicked that link.
Is it blank?
No, it.
Oh.
Oh, I guess I could actually share my screen. That would be helpful. Right? 'Cause I'm going to have to do that anyway. I'm just going to do entire screen because whatever, right? Allow. So I clicked on this link is what they said. So
Right.
here is where they said you can watch it here, right? At that link. And when I click link, this is the link. I'm going to
Okay.
refresh it. I'm going to press this button just to see how it's working for you and see if you see it running okay.
Yeah, I've got it up on my laptop here,
When it starts,
so we'll see.
yeah, when it starts. It's not started yet, so don't panic.
I mean, I am kind of on the borderline of panic. That's what you call it. Can't stop shaking. Ah.
Let's see. Well, it didn't start video of anything, did it? Oh, I'm so freaking out.
So anxious. Oh my gosh. I know he was on the news station on YouTube.
Let's see. I'm going to have to lower us down here. I know. So we talked about what we were guessing this could be or could not be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued if we will find out, why they've made this arrest. They've come to this conclusion somehow, and hopingly they are very confident with it. So I wonder what they found or how they've matched him to this.
Well, and it's going to be interesting of what information is actually going to be shared. Are we going to know?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it just going to be, these are his charges and more info to come? Because, I don't know how much I can handle of waiting.
No.
But, and I'll apologize now if I start hacking coughing because I have got like the severe sniffles and stuff now, and it didn't
Yeah,
matter.
your voice sounds really sore. Oh.
But that's okay.
You got this.
Okay. Let me do a refresh of this again. And it's still 10 minutes away.
I know. I've been waiting all day, feeling like time is going so slow. And now I feel like we're like running out of time.
Exactly.
Oh
my goodness.
Oh, can you imagine how the families feel right now? Oh, I can't get them out of my head.
Well, I'm hoping. I mean, we obviously know they know more than we do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Always.
Let me click this and see what this does. This other link.
I'm hoping this isn't going to be really short, but then again, we really don't know.
All right, I don't want to subscribe. I'm already subscribed. It's amazing how much of it is all about Delphi. I mean, there's just been since Friday, every channel.
I'm really trying to sit still, but it's not going so well. Oh.
I don't know if hot tea is going to do it for me. I'm going to be off the wall here, crazy.
I've drank so many coffees.
I think I'm going to go ahead and open the YouTube just in case. I'll close up one, because obviously one will be faster open than the others. 9, News. Search that. I think the interesting thing will be in shock no matter what's said, right? It's going to be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
we learned this. Oh my God, we didn't learn this.
JSD, I think Mama Bear is backstage waiting to join.
All right,
If you
let me
wanna
see.
let her in with us.
Yes. Hello, Amy.
Yay, hi Amy.
Let's see, and Mama Bear. There we go. Mama Bear disappeared.
Oh no. Okay.
Amy, can you hear us? Wait. Unmute Amy. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Hi.
Yes, I can.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Mama Bear. Can hear
We're
you.
freaking out. We're like freaking out.
I've got my headset on, but it's not working.
That's all right.
We can hear you.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, I'm so anxious.
Okay.
I know. I'm just, God, please.
Yes.
So our biggest curious things that we've discussed has been how detailed is it going to be?
20 years of forecasting experience.
Right? Oh no, don't start playing something already.
That's Big Blue.
I don't want to hear Big Blue.
Fact with weather stats.
Sorry, Big Blue. No. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how close we are. How much detail are you going to share? Right? That's one.
Mhm.
And you know, what details are they going to give?
Yeah, like, are they going to stop looking now? Have they found the one and only person, or is there more to look for?
Right. And is it just going to be charges? Are we going to learn how they got to him? I mean, we did all hear on the news this morning, Fox 59 News released that he's not cooperating, right? We've all heard that.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That I'm not
We
surprised
learned
by
that
that.
not only was the fire pit done in the house searched, but they took his vehicle. So
Yeah.
Right.
we learned that this morning.
Did they say
Right.
what the vehicle was? Because Mama Bear, you and I looked into that pretty extensively
They
Friday.
didn't say.
To say the
They
least.
didn't say.
Remember?
I'm hoping they tell us today. That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, so close.
A few more minutes.
It's October and I'm in the UK, but I'm so warm right now.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. I'm just so anxious.
Me too. I am. I shouldn't have had so much energy drink this morning. I really didn't need it.
Yeah. I think all of our energy is just crazy on its own today,
I kept
along with
waking up.
everyone else.
I kept waking up in the night and checking the clock because I was so worried I was gonna miss it or like sleep in
Or miss something important.
yeah,
Yeah.
miss something. And
So this one almost looks like, let's see, is this live yet?
do you want you probably have the Facebook, the Indiana State Police Information Office feed.
We're like 2 minutes away.
Yeah. If you guys want to try to pull up as well. just
Let
in
me see.
case.
Hmm.
When I tried
that was-
looking on the ISP live, it came up blank for me.
It's still blank, but it's I'll refresh on my end and look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're running it live on your page too,
I just
then?
have Facebook pulled up just to kind of see when they go
Well,
live.
that way we can all check who's the live, because we're going to have Facebook going slow or YouTube going slow
Oh,
or
for
I know
sure.
something going
there's a
slow.
YouTube news channel that has it live right now. I did, yeah.
No, I just didn't know if you were doing it live on your channel.
Do you want to
Annie,
show
that's
it?
all.
Do you have it live now?
I'm not really sure how to do it, to be honest. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it's going to I wonder if it asks me to tell you to let you share your screen.
Hmm.
I have it. It's got a it's on Facebook and there's 3,000
Oh
people
no,
watching it.
Amy,
It says it's
Paige is
live.
gone.
She'll probably come back in. I think she went to go look how to do it real quick.
It's no longer a black screen. It says it starts in 2 minutes if you go to Facebook on an ISP link.
Indiana
Or you
State
can
Police.
just, where you're at.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Or you could just stay wherever you've got,
Too late.
No, I didn't know if you were sharing it on your YouTube.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah,
God help me.
it's live
All right,
on YouTube right now.
Okay. Let me go to your page on YouTube. Okay, there we go.
Right
Okay,
now,
I'm
our
in.
stream on YouTube is live. Okay, they're at the podium.
Don't make me panic. Here we go. Indiana State Police. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Amy, if you want to play the sound, just in case if I'm delayed here at all. All right, Indiana State Police.
I'll put a link in private chat
Do
on
what?
StreamYard. I'll put the link in
Private chat.
our chat in StreamYard. If you just click that link, and then you could just back it up.
All right, I'll click out of this.
He's just giving the introduction.
Okay.
Can't Faye watch somewhere else? Jeez.
Yes, it's Doug. Mr. Carter.
Come on, come on, come on. It's trying.
Come on.
I can share my screen if you want.
I think it's trying to get up here because there's a million comments going to the side. Oh, shit. Come on now, Facebook. Yeah, do you know how to do that, Amy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then just share yours, honey.
Hi, Miss Page. Sorry we lost you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm an idiot with technology. How's
Well, I
it
guess-
going? Ooh.
Technical difficulties.
Amy's going to share her screen instead. It'll be okay.
Okay.
I probably need to stop sharing for you to do it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've shared it.
So I need to stop.
I don't know.
Oh, I feel sick.
My stomach's.
In knots.
Okay. My last cinnamon coffee. Okay. Cinnabon, baby.
So breathe.
I
Say
stopped
pray.
sharing my
Okay.
baby so you could pull yours up, and I'm going to pull up the voice part, if that way, just in case.
So everybody can hear us.
Yep.
Okay.
Has it started already?
Intro.
Okay.
I think their Facebook is having trouble because
There's so many people probably trying to watch.
Oh yeah. May crash. God forbid.
here I got.
For the entire law enforcement community, which are far too
Oh my
many.
Can you
God.
get us all to the side?
Thank you. Thank you.
No, this is just sound right now.
We are
So
going to continue a very methodical and committed approach to
I
ensure
can't hear it.
that if any other person had any involvement in these murders in any way, that person or persons will be held accountable. Since the murders of Abby and Libby 2,086 days ago, the daily investigative team has been tirelessly and is certainly worthy of mention today. Specifically, Sheriff Lisenby, Sheriff Carroll County, Detectives Tony Liggett, Detective retired Kevin Hammond, former Delphi chief and now the prosecutor's investigator Steve Mullins, State Police First Sergeant Jerry Holman, Detective Jay Harper, Dave Vito, and Brian Harshman, along with members of the United States Marshal Service, specifically Agent Jeremy Clinton and Agent Bill Culpers. With them today is Dan McClain, U.S. Marshal, appointed U.S. Marshal. Our state police analysts are scientists from many different disciplines within our laboratory division. This is Captain Shank. For your incredible dedication to detail and to so many others that I know I've missed. I really believe that Abby and Libby would be proud of you for standing strong even in the face of immense pressure and perpetual criticism. Some of these individuals have postponed retirement, passed on promotional opportunity, have dedicated personal time away from their families, given up nights, weekends, and holidays, all while in the pursuit of accountability for Abby and Libby. I know that today's announcement will not diminish your resolve, and I hope you have found just a bit of peace in this most complicated world. This is really important. While I know you are all expecting final details today concerning this arrest, today is not that day.
oh,
Today's not that. This investigation is far from complete.
Today is not a
We
day to
will not
celebrate,
jeopardize its integrity by releasing or discussing documents or
but the arrest
information
is
before the
a tremendous asset to this team. I'm yet again asking you for your patience
Continuing the course, we'll share additional information about what we can.
and please your understanding while our system of due process works.
can you guys hear that better?
Also remember that all persons arrested
It's still a little quiet.
all persons arrested are presumed innocent. You all will have an innate desire to subjectively interpret and then report what you think. We in the law enforcement realm cannot, and you should never allow us to, talk about what we think concerning facts, but rather discuss and share at the right time what it is we know. The time will come when additional details can be released.
Oh, if you can hear me.
Again, today is not that day. It's about Abby and Libby, their families, and this community, this nation, and even our planet. The prosecutor has been very clear with law enforcement about what his expectations are, about what can and cannot be released, shared, or discussed. So we will, of course, comply. If you choose to be critical of our silence, be critical of me, not the front line. These are the folks that have committed their entire lives to a successful conclusion. In other words, a guilty verdict. As we move to the next phase of this investigation, I will continue to offer all resources that the ISP has to not only the investigative team I anticipate growing, but also to Prosecutor McClellan as we prepare for the coming months. Again, Nick has been very resolute and very clear, and I'm most grateful for his leadership. And it's going to be really important as we move forward. Please continue offering tips that you would like to share. The many avenues to report will remain open and will be available to all. Please continue doing that. In closing, I stand before you in this church and very place where we held our first briefing nearly 6 years ago. Hours after the murders of Abby and Libby.
Yep.
What emotion I would experience. Responsibilities you have from around the planet today. That together there's nothing we cannot do. But more importantly, all of us giving of ourselves matters more than what we could ever receive. Abby and Libby, though in death, have had a profound effect on so many of us.
Amen.
On how we live,
Mm-hmm.
and as importantly, who we all should be.
So true.
I would now like to introduce to you my friend,
Oh, God.
Tony Lettonsby. Here we go.
I believe in a God of justice and righteousness. Today, I believe that same God has provided us with justice for Abby and Libby.
Oh, God.
As Sheriff of Carroll County, Indiana, I want to publicly and sincerely thank each individual who played a role in helping us during this 5.5-year investigation. Whether it was in an investigative capacity, providing tips, cards or letters of suggestions or encouragement, phone calls, and thousands of other countless ways of communicating. I earnestly thank those who prayed for this moment in time. We now move forward through the Indiana criminal justice system, allowing the system to provide its due diligence and process in providing that justice which is owed Abby and Libby, their families, and this community. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Nicholas McClellan. I'm the Carroll County prosecutor. And before we get started, I want to reiterate some of the things that Sheriff Lesenby and Superintendent Carter stated. I first want to thank both of them. They've been a great support to my office throughout this investigation. They've always been there for a phone call and always been willing to help a hand or a line of assistance to me and my office during this investigation. I want to thank the team behind me. This is the Homicide Task Force team that we've put together. Thank them and thank their families for being so understanding for the many nights they've worked away from their families, away from their children. There are many dates in a lifetime that you're going to remember. The date your children are born, the date you're married, the date you buy a first house, the date Abby and Libby went missing. One of those dates was last Friday, October 28, 2022. At that time, we had gathered evidence to formulate a PC that we submitted to the court, and the judge did find probable cause for an arrest of Richard Allen. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder for the murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty Jones.
Oh my God.
This investigation is still very ongoing. We're keeping the tip line open, the tip email open. We encourage everybody to continue to call in tips, not only about Richard Allen, but about any other person that you may have. For that reason and for the nature of this case, the probable cause and the charging information has been sealed by the court. I've been very clear to everybody that per the court order, we cannot talk about the evidence that's in the probable cause or the evidence that's in the charging information. That will become evident to you at some point and it will be released, but right now is not that day. Today's about Abby and Libby, focusing on them. Mr. Allen has had his initial hearing. He's entered a preliminary plea of not guilty. The matter's been set for a pretrial on January 13th at 9 a.m., 2023, and a trial date of March 20th, 2023 at 9 a.m. He is presumed innocent. We will have an opportunity and day in court when we present the evidence that we have against him. But until that day, he is presumed innocent. I want to open it up to a few limited questions from the audience. But again, keep in mind, we are not going to talk about the evidence that we have in this case or about the charging information. We cannot. Those things have been sealed by the court. And so I want to open up a few questions.
Prosecutor, when did Richard Allen become a suspect? And do you think he acted alone?
Again, that's part of the investigation, so I'm not going to talk about those things. What I can say is that we have probable cause established by the court for his arrest, and he is in custody. He's being held currently without bond.
How long has he been a suspect?
I'm sorry? Again, that gets into the evidence we have of the investigation, and I know from everybody it's frustrating. I know everybody, not only reporters, but the family, everybody wants to know more information. I understand it's frustrating, but my goal is to maintain the integrity of this case.
How long have they been a
Superintendent Carter, you had said that you believe that you had spoken to the suspect or the suspect's family 2 years ago. Is this man one of those people?
Again, I appreciate the question, but we're getting into the timeline of events, and today's not the time to do that.
He took that how rare it is.
It was a very personal moment for me, and I think it was a very personal moment for them, for all of us that have had interaction with the family. We developed a relationship that I think is going to last at least one lifetime, and maybe a second. So it was a very, very, very sad yet a very humbling experience.
Superintendent, you asked for tips, you detective work, you was awarded for $325,000. This all come together to make this nexus better. The combination of all three things that led us to this day, was it one of the other?
Well, eventually you'll be able to see what led us to this day. But again, today's not that day. To include the reward, you mentioned that, Raphael, about the reward itself, and again, very premature for us to talk about that. There's still a tremendous amount of work to do.
What would you say that Abby and Libby
think probably resilience and understanding the value of each and every day. That today was the day, but I didn't anticipate they ever thought today would be their day. And I feel like I've known them for a long time. Excuse me?
Do you assume there's any other individuals involved in this case?
We haven't closed the door on the investigation. And so that's why we keep the tip line and the tip email open. And so we're not presuming anything at this point, but we're going to continue to take tips, continue to take any information anybody has. And as we've done with all the information we've gathered, we're going to look at that and examine that and see where it leads us.
Can you explain the law? You think you've asked the court based on this investigation, and these documents should remain out of the public view. Can you explain without getting into the details of what's in the documents? But this is not regular. Usually a public hearing is held. We should be able to see all the documents, right?
Sure,
But
sure.
the decision to explain your decision as to why you believe that over the next 30 days, no one in this room should have access to those records.
Sure, it is unusual. We don't do it very often in all the cases that we handle here in Carroll County. We did it in this case because the investigation is still open. And while all cases are important, the nature of this case has some extra scrutiny with it. And so my office, felt it was important to seal those records. There will be a public hearing on whether or not those records are going to remain sealed or not. There'll be public notice for that hearing so that everyone can attend. But there will be a hearing to determine whether or not they're going to stay sealed. But for now, to me, it's about protecting the integrity of this case. I want to have an opportunity at some point to have an opportunity in court to explain the evidence and for that not to be tarnished or tainted or anything like that. Again, he's presumed innocent. And so it was important for me in this case to do that. Hold on just a minute. We're not going to comment on that right now as part of the investigation. Again, we just encourage everybody to continue to call in tips if they have them about anybody, and we'll examine those tips. That's a hard question to answer. It's a mixed emotions. I've been watching the news all weekend like everybody else has, and I think a lot of the members of the public said it right. It's bittersweet. It's a step in the right direction. It's concerning that he's a local guy. So I think just different emotions. Again, this is a step in the right direction. This is the first step into getting into court and having a trial. And so.
All right. That concludes our press conference today. Shortly, I will be releasing a press release that will have his photo and a couple more details that'll also be here for handout. That'll also be on the Indiana State Police Lafayette Post Facebook page. Right after this press conference, I'm going to send it out. There's also hard documents in the back. Thank you all for taking the time to be here today, and be safe as you travel home.
Well, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what I am right now.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
So, I mean, almost what we were sharing is what we kind of expected could happen. Was that it's announcement of charges, which the official announcement of charges given by the Carroll City Prosecutor and the Homicide Task Force was 2 counts of murder.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we know that he's being charged with 2 counts of murder.
And that he's pled guilty.
And no bond.
So that he's pled not guilty.
Oh yeah, not guilty, sorry.
He pled not guilty, and we know he's not talking.
Yes.
So here's the killer for me, that they said the trial and I'm making sure I heard it. Pre-trial January 13th of 23.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then March 20th.
March 23rd of 23.
Right.
I think, or March 23.
March 20th. March 20th
Yeah.
at 9 a.m. Both at 9 a.m. January 13th and March 20th. Those dates might change, and it might be good to like
Yeah.
check in on my case, the Indiana court system to see, because a lot of times those preliminary hearings can be rescheduled, but I think that's the way they've set it for now.
And if he turns around and finds out they have a lot of information on him, I mean, they could.
They said that they got evidence.
Yeah, they've got evidence, but if he could, his decision of whether he decides to cooperate or not may change because he's only been in jail for 3 days.
But he
Right.
doesn't know what they have, maybe. Mhm.
Well, yeah, I think they'll work on it. But here's the interesting fact, and what do we call this? This is non-proven. What is a speculation? I'm going to do some speculating here. My feelings initially were, did he do this alone? And
Yeah.
with the words that came out of Keegan Klein's mouth that we have heard about him sitting in a vehicle, red Jeep, whatever car, whatever it is, and that we know that there was about him sitting at a gas station that they saw on his phone. He Googled the gas station that was nearby, which
Yep.
was the Murphy gas station.
Yep.
Was Keegan Klein waiting at a gas station for a pharmacist who is walking distance from his work to the bridge?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there somebody else involved with the murders? Because I feel like if they thought he was it, and this is, I'm just thinking this all out loud, so chat and everybody, please forgive me. If this was it, I feel like they would have said, yep, we got him, this is done.
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
the discussion of, if please keep bringing in more tips.
About anybody.
We
Yep.
can't say how the Kleins are involved. We can't say if there's another person. We can't tell you what we have. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like Keegan obviously is a piece of that because he brought up about sitting in a vehicle waiting for someone. We don't know who that someone is. But would Keegan Klein go wait in a vehicle? He's 20, what was he, 22-ish then, maybe? I believe. And he's waiting for a 50-year-old pharmacist to come and get in his vehicle and do this? Or was he waiting for somebody else? Why would the pharmacist need help? He can,
Picking someone up. Mm.
I don't know what the chat thinks, but I feel like there could be another person they're trying to get. And I think his cooperation may not just be, yes, I plead guilty, but here's who else was involved.
Well, Melissa Cox in chat says she has a lot of thoughts on the case.
Yes,
Do you have anything you'd like to add, Melissa?
Melissa's saying that we would only know if they unseal it on my case. Yeah, that's the only time we're going to know anything about that. And maybe if he pleads guilty. Because if he pleads guilty and makes a plea deal, he is going to try to get the death penalty off the table if he turns somebody else in, right? That would be the only reason I think that.
Did anybody use the words capital murder, or did they just say murder?
They just said 2 counts of murder.
Yeah.
But
so
he
maybe prosecutors may not know for sure yet if they want to make it a capital case.
Don't forget, too, Keegan's case will be coming up again before this. When is that scheduled again?
January of January
14th.
22,
Oh no.
So we may hear a little bit more about that if he decides to come out and make a plea deal too. So
Mm.
a lot of things, moving parts could be happening here. So we'll just have
Well,
to wait and see.
and if Keegan turned in stuff and said things and did say that he was there, I mean, wouldn't we have an announcement that he's being charged with murder
Such and
as
such.
well,
Yeah.
or accessory after the fact of murder, or
Conspiracy.
manslaughter, whatever.
Conspiracy to commit murder, something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, Melissa. Yes, he was attacked. Sorry.
Yes. Pharmacist tech. He worked at CVS. We'll put it that way, Melissa. I just feel like we've got more out there, and that's what we kind of suspected, was that I just thought that he is a small stature of a person, and could have he managed this on his own,
Right.
and because of, you know, the two teenage girls, the size of Libby was a bigger girl than Abby, and you know, I just think that um I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I'm still kind of in shock a little bit, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah. I don't
he's,
know what to think or say.
yeah, it's like he's there, right? We know he's in it. And
Yeah.
what are each your opinions? I mean, I hate to say it because there's a million people in Indiana who looks like freaking Bridge Guy, right? So that almost doesn't mean crap anymore. But I will say that he also does look like Bridge Guy, right? Even though
Mm-hmm.
that's not a good picture. I will say the only thing that makes it more enticing to me is his photo, which is of a video. It's a still from a video that his wife took of him with a jacket that looks like the jacket that's being worn by the Bridge Guy.
And that was like
JSD,
3 months before, I think, wasn't it? Or something.
3 months prior to the murder.
Yeah. JSD, two things in chat. One, Melissa Cox is asking if she could come up for a second to talk. And also,
I'll step
Danny
down.
is saying
I'll leave.
the fact that he was arrested for murder says he is Bridge Guy. That is Danny's statement. Danny Van Sickle.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. I was hoping they would say this is the guy in the photo.
They didn't even say, we know he's Bridge Guy.
Right. Right. I mean, we obviously know he was there. They're not going to charge him for murder not to. I just suspect he did not do this alone.
Yeah, just the fact that they said, the tip line is still open and it's for a tip you have on anybody. Yeah.
Well, they left
So
that
they're
kind of
still
open.
looking at others.
What they even left it open, like they weren't saying directly what the tips would be. You know what I mean? They were not directly saying, we want tips on CSAM, right? Or we want tips on anything specific, right?
If you've interacted with this man or nothing.
Yeah,
Right.
I think because of the man coming forward, it's now what are the people who know of this man know about him in the community?
JSD, do you have to invite Melissa Cox to come up or
Yeah, I would have to do a special invite message. I would end up having to, let me see here. I wish, Amy, you would have stayed in here. I can still have you.
Yeah. Join back.
All right, let me see if I can redo that again.
Amy, why don't you come back in with us?
Please. All right, let me go back.
We need you, Amy.
Yes, come on now. I mean, we already have Kilt who's at work and can't even do this.
Yeah.
Well, she's in chat.
He's in
for
the chat.
moment. For the
Hi,
moment,
Cal.
she's
So-
getting ready.
Melissa, I just dropped a link for you. This is from Melissa that can come in and join us.
Danny's saying if he wasn't bridge guy, they would have charged him with accessory or something like that. Plus, they wouldn't have made his arrest public if he wasn't there at the scene because it would spook who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you, Danny. I absolutely 100% feel like that guy is who they believe is the guy on the bridge.
Yeah,
And
I do believe he is bridge guy.
I just, I mean, I had a
That's
feeling
all.
that we were all sharing prior to this. I have a feeling that there's somebody else involved. I think that's why they're saying keep tips going in. I mean, I feel like Keegan didn't share about him sitting in a car waiting
Yeah.
for somebody and that not mean anything. Good morning, Kel.
Yeah, like, is there really a Klein connection?
And they wouldn't answer that. But
Mm-hmm.
doesn't there have to be? I mean, we all know that the information that came out about him saying about him being in a vehicle and then a search that happened.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still very confusing. I've got so many questions.
I know. And I mean, so did the press and everybody in that room, right? There was a million people ready to go asking
Did
the
you?
questions
Yeah.
we were.
Did you hear them at one point that they made a statement or they said something, and then as soon as they finished, there was just an uproar of questions. It just got
Yeah.
so loud.
They kept trying to do this. Okay, we really can't say anything about this, but we'll take a few questions. I mean, and what's interesting is that probable cause affidavit could mention that he was there with somebody. It's like suspect 2, right? It could say something like a suspect 2 and give that up. Or it could have
There's many reasons why it's sealed. Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
I think it would have given too much info. And if they got some of the info from Keegan, right? Or if they got some of the info from, who knows, the CSAM sharing,
The
right?
River Sage.
That's how they kind of link them together too.
JSD, I'm sorry. Melissa may be in the waiting area.
I'm looking for her, Mama Bear. She's not here yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I mean, there was a lot of people forever that suspected that there could be 2 people involved. But needless to say, this guy would not have had to panic leaving because he's walking distance from work, walking distance from where he actually could have really parked his car. He wouldn't have necessarily had to park it over at that building, but he would be aware of it. All right, I'm going to bring Melissa here.
Right.
Hello, Melissa.
Hello.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Welcome to Justice Served Daily.
Okay, so there's way too much for me to type. I've been following this case from the moment that the girls went missing and everything was televised looking for them.
Yeah.
I don't live that far from Delphi.
Yeah, I'm a Hoosier too, Melissa. I
And
gotcha.
so this is really close to me, both physically and just as a mom.
Yeah.
So from everything that I know, both from my former profession and what I've seen on TV, there are a lot of things today in that press conference that gave a lot away. Mostly with the prosecutor when he got up to speak.
Yeah.
And then again with the superintendent. The superintendent said that it's ongoing, that the tip line is still open, that they're leaving it open. He did not, if you have information just about this guy, there are more people involved with that statement. That means he's looking at more people, other people. That be Klein or somebody. I personally think
Melissa,
too much evidence for them not. I request so that I go back and when he looked directly at the camera, he is talking to somebody directly.
Absolutely.
And it was not
Melissa,
the press.
you don't have YouTube on the background, do you? Because you're kind of echoing.
Yeah, let me close them out.
Okay.
Okay. Is it echoing still?
No, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good now.
Yeah.
So with that little smirk that the prosecutor did and the microfacial movements, the body language, there's a lot more that they want to say, but they can't. I was an officer for a while, and I can tell you from personal experience, there's things that they can't say.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't even know how to put my thoughts into complete sentences and words right now.
Yeah.
You're doing it really well.
No,
like
I think that's so you're saying so you have I'm assuming some type of police officer background.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, so of course we know they got to keep stuff close. The prosecutor wants that to happen so they don't risk the case, right? The biggest deal is
correct.
Don't risk revealing something out there that's gonna expose the case. But I do think
well, not just necessarily expose the case. If they were to say, see, at this point, everything the prosecutor says or the state police say, the defense,
yes,
and everything, when they go up on stand, that can all be pulled back.
Sure.
So they have to be very careful as to exactly what they say. But the fact that they are talking in plurals, they never once stopped talking in plural.
Right.
It was constantly they, them.
Yep.
It was not he, him. Says a lot more than I think what they realize that.
You know, I think we can all know that there's knowledge of Keegan no matter what because of his comment about being in a car waiting, right? That's already given away.
Yeah.
And obviously he was trying to give enough that they would give him a deal because he's got that Dropbox. And in my opinion, and because of the other videos I've done with finding these people, that there is another child petty ring in Indiana, a large one, like there has been before. When we went over last night, some of those people who have been arrested since Keegan has been in jail while they looked at these sites. So,
and my understanding is Keegan Klein said that had access to the Anthony shots, he was the other user of this page.
Tony, you mean? That Tony had access? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, one, we
No.
know Keegan's a lawyer,
Richard
right?
Allen, according to Keegan Klein, was
Right.
Yeah. But it would make sense if it really is what he said, catalyst to the investigation into Allen. And I think that's what a lot of people are struggling with is how did they get to Allen?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that our discussion that we've had in our group looking into this has been that
it's more likely for Alan to be associated with Tony,
right.
maybe.
There's we're just throwing
speculating.
This. We don't know, but we're looking at this around the same age as Tony that this guy is. We're looking that there is family connected in Peru and Logansport from Alan's family and his wife. So we've got the connection of the Klein family from that. So there could be possibly a connection where the images that were being shared out that Kleins were having, meaning Keegan and Tony, because we know that Keegan said that both of them had access to the Anthony shots, is that Tony could have been, or Keegan could have been sharing that imagery with Richard. And why? Because I think a man who commits a crime like this is looking at child pornography. And that's why he's trying to get to this. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of info I think the police probably pulled down, like his social media and other things to find. It'll be interesting when they run his DNA, because it would be very curious if this man has been anywhere else, that he's done anything else like this, or did he just decide, I'm just going to walk, right across the street to the park, which is haunting, where his daughter was, where his daughter took a picture.
No, I firmly believe that he has done this before.
Yeah.
He has thing like this before, and I will firmly believe. You don't wake up one day and go from
like, where was he before 2006?
I don't look at child porn. That's just
yeah.
I mean, you don't just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I think I'm going to kill 2 girls after."
Yeah, like I'm 45 years
just
old now. It's time. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No. Well, and we've caught a lot of the perps that I covered last night that are the more recent people. Well, and I'll take that back. Even the people in the international ring we busted years before, their imagery are violent. It's not just CSAM. It's violent, abusive, hurting. Their level of what it is extreme.
I actually watched your show last night, and I knew a couple of those people, and a couple of them shocked me. One in particular, to the point that I actually got on and made some phone calls because
oh my gosh,
couldn't believe what I had seen. And then I went to my case, and then the one I knew I've known personally for years.
Yeah.
And a lot of weird things that have happened finally made sense. I thought he was just odd.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I have a history in law enforcement. So,
well, that's why they call it hide in plain sight, right?
How did Alan's wife not know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
I've had times when I was married, my husband would call me, and at first it would sound like him. You're going off of a split-second video.
Right.
You can't, necessarily say, oh, she should have heard the voice. Not necessarily. And if you,
No.
you know, a lot of people are saying if you look at where he is at the bar, him and his wife, that picture, and the poster is behind them. Look at it. Look at it closely.
Yeah.
The poster
You wouldn't sit
didn't
there
have
and think
facial
it's
hair.
him.
He had long facial hair. The poster had long hair. He had short hair. So if she didn't, you know, so many people expect these people to look identical to the drawing, and they're not going to look identical. They're going to look similar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the video is not a clear video. That is so
No.
not clear. That is not a clear enough picture.
How many years did we go thinking that was? How many years did thinking that was a hat on his head instead of hair?
Yeah. Well, and then you've got the other part that happened was the confusion with the sketches, because everybody's been looking for one sketch, and then when we all of a sudden saw, you know, the other sketches come out, I think it was crazy that, you know,
Yeah.
that we're suddenly with another sketch and everybody was shocked. It's like, what?
You
What
went
does
from
this
an old guy
mean?
to a young guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to turquoise, right.
But if you put the
The
two
US
sketches
Marshals-
together, you're
the US
really, really
Marshals
close.
being there is interesting. I think that if it would have been announcing the capture or an operation, which I'm not saying that's not going to happen, because I truly, in my opinion, believe it's going to eventually be announced, an operation by the FBI and Homeland Security. And when those people are involved, that's because it's crossing state lines and countries.
Yep.
And I think we'll have one that
Well,
goes
not
down.
necessarily just that either. A lot of people don't realize, and I until my background, any railroad track, whether it is a current railroad track or it is an abandoned railroad track, is federal property. So if, let's just say if, because, you know, he is innocent until proven guilty, although in my mind he is guilty. Alan took them from the track, from the abandoned track, okay, and led them to the private property where they were found. He kidnapped them off of federal property.
Yeah.
Therefore, that's when the U.S. Marshals and the FBI can get involved and make it a federal case.
Yeah. I think that,
And from my
you
understanding,
know, that's why I'm surprised that kidnapping is not one of the charges. Yet. Let me put it that way. Yet. They can
Yet.
still have whatever they want to. Because you're right. When they move somebody and take you against your will from one spot to any spot, it doesn't matter where they take you, it's kidnapping.
it could be kidnapping. They could also charge him with false imprisonment. And everyone, how can one person control two girls? It's not hard. It's really not hard. It's not as hard as people think. If he had a gun or a weapon, which we know he did because he brutally murdered them and it wasn't by strangulation.
Yeah.
All he had to do is threaten one of them. If you do anything, she dies.
Right.
And as close as the girls were, they wouldn't have done anything because they were looking out for the other.
Well, and I think, I mean, we're all assuming here because we don't know, but you know, the way she was found in the water and all that kind of stuff. I do think if he's just trying to get down the hill, one person, and you have two girls getting down there, you know, when you're going down that embankment, you can't go fast or you're going to fall, and he's behind them. So they could have tried to take a run for it at least once. And then he had to try to, get a hold of him and stuff like that. And we know this app they have shared in different podcasts and different shows, and YouTubers and stuff have talked about that, they believe that Abby was killed first and then Libby, and that she had more of the blunt of what was going on. I mean, I think once they realize it's going to be that desperate, then you are fighting for your life. And I think it would be a little bit more difficult.
Yes, and I do agree
that he's only 5'4" and whatever, 180 pounds. I think it would be a little more difficult to try to keep them together, keep them from, or especially if you pulled out a knife and you're doing that, the other one can sit here and try to run to get help. And, so that could be something.
Let's put that theory into speculation again and go a little bit further with it. If going down the hill, and let's credit the girls for taking this video and audio.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep. God
the
bless
girls were totally on their toes. Whatever made them do it, God bless that. Now, if one of the girls were to have taken off down the hill, who's to say he didn't kill one and instantly stop the other one and then chase after her?
Right.
It's
I
possible just for one guy to do it. But I think he had help? Yes, I do.
Yeah, I think that somebody could have been waiting down the hill to help him. That if there is a second person, my assumption would be is that person was down the hill already and waiting.
Well, we know they went on the bridge.
And I agree with that because I understand the conversation, not necessarily understand, that's totally the wrong word, but I can envision a conversation of, I'll go get the girls and I will bring them to this spot. You be there waiting.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I said, the microfacial movements and the wording from the news conference today, if you read between the lines and know about body language, said a lot.
Yeah. I think it also, honestly, even though I wanted the video to work properly, I think it's interesting to also listen to when you're just listening clearly to what they're saying, right? The words and how they're saying it and what they were saying and what they were trying to tell you of what they couldn't tell you. I can't tell you if there's a second person. I can't tell you if the Kleins are involved, but we're going to leave the tip line open if there's any other information out there.
Yes, and it wasn't just, like you just said, and it wasn't just if you know about this man. It's like the tip line is open. The FBI is still going over these tips. Any tips.
Yeah.
That tells you right there that they feel, in my opinion, that they believe there is a second person and possibly more arrests down the line when they get the evidence to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to strike until they have no doubt and no way for them to wiggle out of the indictment and the charge.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Well, thank you, Melissa, for joining us up here. We appreciate you coming on. And
thank you. It's been really insightful.
Yeah, it's good that we have our group of, how many of them? There are 5. Our group of 5, we do stuff, but we love to, kind of toss around thoughts and stuff that we have, and definitely like hearing what other people's thoughts and stuff of, what's going on. And I can't say I'm glad. I don't know how to say it. I guess I'm glad that I made you aware of some predators in your area that you weren't aware of. But I mean, awareness.
A couple of them I knew were predators and didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But to
Because I
have
used
one
to
that
live
was a
down around
friend,
Mitchell.
to have one that was a friend is a different story, though.
The one that surprised me was my friend. And
Yeah.
that man has children. I've watched his children. He has seen my children. We have went to parties together. We have celebrated birthdays together. We have hung out at the bar.
Melissa, would you want to tell us who that person is, or?
Been around that person. That person was Jason Potts.
Okay.
Well, we're sorry that it was shocking
a very
to
good
you,
friend
Melissa.
of mine.
Yeah.
That friendship developed initially because he worked with my father.
Wow.
And I took a screenshot of your podcast and I went to my case and I screenshotted it and I sent it to my mom and I'm like, you need to show Dad, this makes a lot of things make sense. And one of the things that made sense is for years, and I won't bring her name into it because I don't believe she's married anymore. She will do whatever to protect her. And I know she's a very good mother, and I know she had no clue about what he was doing, or she probably would have shot him. But the man drove around for years with a song on his rearview mirror, and I'm talking 3.
What was
so we didn't think a whole lot of it until now.
What was hanging on the rearview mirror?
Thong.
Oh.
Underwear.
Oh, wow.
Underwear that he claimed was his wife's underwear. However, it was at least 5 sizes too small for his wife.
Wow. I'm sorry that was a lot for you to take in, Melissa. And, we're very sorry for you to have been put in that position. But we're just trying to get the information out there as best that we can to, to everybody.
I think that the important thing, for me, and especially being here too, it's shocking. It's like shocking, but then not shocking, right? We know that these type of people exist, maybe not as extreme when we find out about them, but when you sit here and realize like what some of them are doing, and how severe some of it is, that part is shocking. I mean, and
how they seemingly live their lives.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's crazy.
Like Jason,
I'm glad
there was this one time with Jason. We were at a bar. There was a band. My dad was in a band and he was playing, and Jason was there. And we went outside, and there was actually a stabbing at this bar. Some people had got into it. This was a man that really would do anything for anybody. Like, you hear it all the time. Oh, they were so nice. And he was. However, looking back, knowing what I found out last night, little weird got brought to forefront. It wasn't necessarily the happy memories. It wasn't the you were there for me when memories. It was well, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, you
Right.
immediately identified the weird things and connected them together.
The puzzle pieces start fitting.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
never fit before, and you just attribute it to, well, it's a weird thing that he does, or
He says, yeah.
So Michelle, is Jason related to Justin Potts?
I don't know the name Justin.
Okay. Because
However, I don't remember all the names of his kids either. And a lot of his family and extended family I didn't meet.
yeah, I was just curious because we had but this guy was 37 in Muncie, and his last name was Potts as well. So I was just curious if they were actually related.
Probably not, because Jason was not from that area.
Yeah,
So I would
Petersburg.
assume not. He was more from southern Indiana region.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it looks like, I mean, they caught him sharing files of girls under 16 for 2 years, October 20th or October 2020 to January 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And that part, when I seen that, worried me, because I know he had a young daughter. When I knew him, she's, well over the age of 16 at this point. But was he doing it then and nobody caught him?
Yeah.
Type thought in my head. Because like I said, a lot of things make sense from way before they did the investigation, or way before they arrested him, in the 2022 range. We're talking like the 2000 to 2005 range.
Yeah, I don't think somebody just jumps on that habit within, like, boom, I'm suddenly now into it.
Right.
I think it exists for a while.
It develops into a habit.
Especially if they're starting to feel comfortable enough to share the images that they have.
It becomes more brazen as time goes on. They get a taste for something more, which is scary.
Well, Michelle, I will say that, I mean, I'm sorry you were exposed to somebody like that, but
Yeah.
I'm glad that some of the research and stuff that, I worked on to watch these people in Indiana get busted helped inform you about somebody who was near you and that you should be aware of.
And near your children.
And not just a prevention, but also intervention if something possibly happened to anybody who was near him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because they may have not shared their secret yet. They may have not told theirs because they're embarrassed by it. And, we want our kids to feel safe, and we want them to be able to come to us when something like that happens and know that that's not their fault that happens. And, that they are a victim of it. So, and, that's kind of like what we're talking about, this Richard Allen. I don't think he just suddenly one day decided, I'm going to stroll across the street and go murder 2 girls. There are signs of stuff somewhere. And I can't explain it, but I feel like there's a connection with the CSAM that he would have possibly looked at that built him up to this type of crime, if he didn't already commit one similar before.
I am a firm believer at this point, and I can't really explain why, that he has done something before and just has not been caught, whether it's been in another state, whether the person is too scared to come forward, whatever. I firmly, like you said, you don't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to go kill 2 innocent, beautiful little girls.
Yeah.
Like after all this time, I'm gonna act out my fantasy.
Yeah.
You don't
Wow.
just wake up one day and do that.
No.
I'll never understand why
I
a
appreciate you
child's
coming on,
body
Melissa, and
is.
and sharing with us too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you.
you.
So,
And Melissa, best to you and
yeah,
yours and your children.
And we hope
And
you're okay.
yeah,
yeah, and keep watching us. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
yes.
I subscribe to you, so I'll definitely keep watching. But I have to run for now. But thank you for
Okay.
letting me throw my 2 cents out there, because a lot of people aren't understanding, how the FBI can, and they keep saying cross state lines, and that's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yes,
Yeah.
Melissa. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
just take care of yourself, hon, okay?
I will. You guys as well.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
Melissa.
you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye, Melissa.
Bye.
Well,
Wow.
that was good. I mean, I feel good in hearing that we informed somebody in the community about somebody they weren't aware of that was around them. I feel good about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. It was good research, definitely. It's just sad to hear it from the person out of their own mouth, though,
Yeah.
You could hear the hurt.
Can't
And
imagine how that feels.
No, and you know what? I bet you that there's a lot of people around this Richard Allen that it's the same way.
oh, sure.
I mean, they're
Definitely.
probably got, they're
Think
like,
so.
I mean, just like the restaurant alone, right? The restaurant people were like, "Hey, he came in here, she would order his food, and he's sitting here quiet, and I'm sure it's just out of plain shock that, like, oh my God, I've been serving food to this guy who committed these murders that are out of here, in the community." So, I mean, but that's how at least the child pedophilia works. They get close to children, they participate in stuff where kids are going to be, they're going to be nearby. I mean, obviously, he was aware of the park because he had been there with his daughter. He probably knew that that's a place where kids their age hang out, because his
Right.
daughter's probably done that stuff as well. And God bless her. I don't want to, yes, the girl is over 18, but that does not mean we should expose her face and let everybody in the world, see who she is, that she can be
No.
harassed or bullied. What a shock to find
Absolutely.
out that your father's like that. And here's the other thing. We all talked about this, so I'm going to bring it up. We don't know what the family situation was in his home. So there could
Exactly.
have been,
We know nothing about any of them.
Right.
there could have been violence in the home towards the wife and the child, and there could have been all kinds of things going out. So
Or he
yes,
could have come across as the perfect husband and father.
yeah. I mean, that's like saying, and I know this is different, but let me just give an example. That's like saying that there's somebody who's cheating on their wife, and then people go, well, how did she not know that he was running around like this and seeing all these women and doing all this stuff and blah, 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 blah? Because these people are great liars. That's why they know how to.
Exactly.
They're hiding a secret like this, and they're not going to expose that. Or maybe it was a violent situation, and we don't know. But I definitely don't want to blame his family, because we don't know details.
I don't understand why that would even be questions in people's mind right now. Why are they even thinking about, whether the mother and wife and daughter knew anything? Why? That should not be a question right now, because we don't know. It shouldn't even be speculation.
Right.
Right now, all we know is he had a wife and a daughter, and we should all feel really sad for them because they possibly just found this out themselves at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We can't point fingers because we don't know the situation they are in, period. I mean, they may have just been in protective mode for themselves, you know, and had no clue. Their eyes were blinded because they were dealing with their own situations, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know for myself, I'll probably rewatch it. The press
Yeah, me
a
too.
couple more times.
Yes.
To just get a vibe and stuff for that, and then see what happens. I think it's going to be a wait again. It's going to be another wait to see when he decides to cooperate. Because I feel like they need more intelligence in informant information in order to possibly take in if there is a second person, which, in my opinion, I believe there is.
If we're speculating, JSD, I mean, do we think that it does have to do with a pedo ring, or I mean, what's everybody's thought on that? Because I think
I
it
still
could have a
don't
lot to
know
do
at
with
this
that.
point. I still do firmly kind of believe that maybe a second person is involved. I'm not so sure about a larger ring, but
And again, this is
it's very
speculation.
coincidental, like what is going on.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
I
think
don't really believe in coincidences.
I mean, here's I'm and again, because we're speculating, my dots want to connect it in the sense that Richard Allen committed a crime against underage girls, that a girl was undressed, a girl was murdered. So in my mind, those dots are not far away for me to connect that this man probably looked at CSAM.
Right.
I don't know what form, but it doesn't really matter. And I think that there's a connection, either that maybe he was one of the people accessing the Dropbox, or even just sharing back and forth with, with Klein, going back and forth and sharing it. And or I think also the connecting dots are when you see that he has a family base that was in Peru and was in Logansport. I feel like that's an awful interesting coincidence that that's there too. And we can't ignore that no matter what, Keegan said he is sitting in a car waiting. Right? We can't ignore that. We've heard that.
I can't ignore that, or the fact that he Googled that gas station.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he was the last one to have communication with Libby.
Well, let me take that back. That was Anthony Schott's profile.
Right. The Anthony Schott's, true. Sorry, correction. Yes.
Who was it?
So that could have been him. Again, he said the only other person who had the connection as Anthony Schatz was his dad.
Right.
So, I don't know. But, I guess that's where I kind of stand. I feel like there are a couple coincidences that the Kleins would know of him. And I think they need some intelligence from him of who else was involved. So
yeah. There's a lot more that's going to be unfolding.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
And I agree with you, Melissa. The gas station Google, why would he Google that, right? If Keegan is if he's going out there to do it, he's going to get gas in Peru. He's not going to Delphi to get gas. He's
there for another purpose.
Gas station that he's not familiar with to know where it's located. Why? Is he communicating with somebody before this is going to happen? Or is
lives
it
near the gas station, maybe?
Yeah. Or is somebody saying meet me there, or is somebody saying drop me off there?
Or pick me up.
Yep. Because basically you're just driving right over to the other side of the highway between the gas station and the CVS. So it's not that far. But
no.
Well, ladies, we finally found out what we needed to. Well, not what we needed to find out, but we saw what we needed to
What
see.
we were waiting for. Yeah.
So that's awful interesting. And
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. Thank you, Amy, for coming on too.
Yeah, it was great, Amy. Miss you.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you, Melissa, for coming up and joining us. Mama Bear, thank you for coming and talking this out.
Thank you, hon, for having me up.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of our normal, honest, this is our normal discussions that we go through.
Yeah, our daily phone calls.
Yeah, we normally go, what do you think? What about this? What about this? And then if we're not doing that, we're all on computers looking up stuff and investigating things. So
Yeah, and then sharing things with each other.
yeah. And again,
Yes.
I'd like to bring up that this group of ladies I met on other YouTube channels that were true crime. And we just happened to all be following the Delphi case. And we met each other through that. And then we decided, you know what? Actually, I think Mama Bear pressured me, but they were like, JSD, go start a channel and go
She's
do
too
this.
good to waste.
Yeah, and I have a lot of passion for several cases that I'll be doing, but this is one. This one, because I'm a parent, because I'm a mom, this just breaks my heart. And I can't imagine waiting 5.5 years to get to even just this point. And I want to protect our communities wherever you live. Be aware of these people who are being busted with this. Be aware of the social media. Be aware of who your kids are around. And from that, I will use my tagline here. Let's also make sure that justice is served daily.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
thank you guys. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
We'll see you all soon.
All righty. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.